Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to listen about the second chapter friction activity 8 effect of rollers on friction. We all know how the rollers will helps to us to pull anyone, to push anyone. What happened without a roller? If you push anything, we feel very difficult to push that one. But when we are using the rollers, what happened? The friction on the object will be decreases, and also the force which is used to pull that object will be increases. Like that, what happened? That object will move very easily. So here you have to observe activity 8 effect of rollers on friction. Here in this picture you have to observe what is the boy doing here. The boy pulling the bag towards him. Here any difficulty you are observing? No, very easily the bag is moving. How the bag moving? Very easily, because by using the rollers. Without rollers, what happened? The bag moves very difficult, and boy also moves very difficult to move that bag. So because of the rollers, what happened here? Friction on the bag will be decreased, and also the pulling force which is used by the boy will be very easily the bag moving because of that pulling force. Here you have to see in page number 27 activity 8. Pull a suitcase without rollers and pull a suitcase which has rollers. Already we discussed what difficulty we observed when without roller the pushing of the bag or pushing of the suitcase will be very difficult. It moves very difficult, and also because of the rollers, what happened? The moving in the object very easily. The movement in the object or anything, suitcase or bag or anything, it moves very easily. In which case is the pulling easy? Why? We all know why. In which case, when the rollers will be present, in that case the bag will move very easily. Why? Because the friction on the object will be decreases, and also the force, pulling force applied by the boy will be more compared to the friction on the bag. Here, try to push a book laying on the table. Now place the book on to the three pencils of or pens without caps. Push the book again. What do you notice? Why? In which case it is easy to pull with the book. Why? So here you have to observe. Push the book laying on the table. Normal activity, this one. If you have the books, you have to keep on the table that books, and also push with your hands. What you feel very difficult to push that book. And after, what we need to do by keeping the three pencils or pens, by removing caps. How the pencils and pens will rolls very easily? Rolls. When we are keeping the book on that pen or pencils, what happened? We observe what we are observed. The book will move very easily, and also the applying force also very less to move that object by keeping the pen or pencils. What do you notice? Why? In which case is it easy to pull the book? Why? So we all know when it is easy, when we are keeping the pencils or pens below the book, between the table to book, what happened? The book moves very easily, and also the pulling force which is applied by us is very less, and also friction also very less. In which case it is easily pull the book. Why? We all know friction will be very less when we are keeping the pencils under the below the book on the table, and also between the book or book and table. Then what happened? The book moved very easily. In the first case, when we are not keeping any object between the book to table, what happened? The movement of the book or any object, it is very difficult. It is always easier to roll a body than to slide it over a surface. So it is convenient to pull the luggage fitted with a rollers. Already we discussed what happened when we are when we are fitted the rollers to any object. What happened? To move that object is very easy. When one body rolls over the surface of another body, the friction offered is called rolling friction. So how many frictions up to now we are observed? Three type of frictions. So what are they? Static friction, sliding friction, and rolling friction. So by using the rollers, the object movement is very easy. If, the weight we feel also very less. So rolling friction is more comfortable to carry the luggage or anything. Next, activity 9. Understanding the principles of ball bearings. If you observe your handle, cycle handle, it moves very easily. If you move any side, it moves very easily without giving any noise. Why? Because it moves very easily. If you observe the small balls, iron balls will be kept in that rounds under the handle. So because of that, that handle will move very easily. That balls will be, that iron, small iron balls will be called as the ball bearings. Because of that only, the cycle handle will move very easily. Take two lights, take take two lids and rotate them by putting one on the top of the other. What do you observe? Now place 3 to 4 marbles on one lid and place the other lid on the top of the marble. So now try to rotate the top lid. What did you observe? So if you're keeping the two disc type of marbles, here you have to observe. By keeping one by one, what you are observing, the movement of the disc will be the movement of the marble very difficult. And also in the figure 2, rotating the lids, here you have to observe two marbles by keeping one by one, and under some balls are there. So movement of the disc will be very easy. This is the principle of ball bearings. To reduce friction between the rotating shafts of machine tools, we use ball bearings. Here shaft means you have to observe that the ending point of the motors or any machines. So that there one rotating part is will be fixed. How that rotating part will moves very freely by reducing the friction, it will moves very freely by using the ball bearings. That is the advantages of by using the ball bearings, it will moves very easily. Can we reduce the friction to zero? Explain. What purpose are surveyed by bearings in nations? To reduce the noise, to move freely, and also by stacking, to avoid the stackings. By these all are the advantages by using the ball bearings. Next, activity 10. Without ball bearings, what happened? We won't move anything very easily. The discs, the shafts won't move very easily. Next, activity 10. Observing fluid friction. Take a glass of water and stir it with a spoon. You know that water whirls around an axis. Stop stirring and see what happens. You may notice that whirling speed of water gradually decreases, and after some time the water stops whirling and comes to a stable state. So here when we play also, when we are drinking the milk or water, by using the spoon, what we do very or also mix by using by need to sugar water, what we need to do, one spoon of sugar will kept in that water, and we need to mix. How we mix? By the rotating the spoon in that water. What happened in the water? Water will be whirls. After some time you need to stop that rotating of the spoon. What happened? After some time the water whirling will be decreases, and also it comes to stable position. But when you are removing the spoon from that water, immediately the water stops whirling? No, or it takes some time to comes into the stable position. So which force is responsible for the stopping the rotation of the water? We all know, already we discussed, to stop the vehicles, to stop the any rotating one, what we are using the opposite force. That opposite force will be called as the friction. So here which force is reduced or decreases water into water whirling, and also it comes into the stable position by which force? Because of the friction. The frictional forces between the liquid layers or between the liquid surfaces that is in contact with the glass surfaces are responsible for stopping the rotation of the water. So the frictional force between the glass surface or and also contact liquid surface and the contact with the glass surfaces, that will be stops the whirling of the water, and it will be keep into the stable position. Next, similarly water and other liquids exert force of friction when objects moves. So water or another liquid, in the place of the water if you use any liquid, what happened? You can observe fluid friction will when you travel in a boat. So not only liquids, gases and air also offer friction to bodies like aeroplanes, jets, when they move through air. So in the air, in the water, wherever, whatever you have to choose the vehicle, wherever you have to do the journey, what they use the friction to stop that one. In science, the common name for gases and liquids is fluids. So we can say that fluids exert for of friction on objects in motion through them. So that fluid, because of that fluids only, the objects or vehicles will move very easily. The frictional force exerted by fluids is also called a drag. The force which is exerted by the fluids, because fluids means here liquids, gases and air are also that friction. Because of that friction, to stop the vehicles, that friction will be called as the drag. Next, here come to the activity 11, identifying factors influencing the fluid friction. So take a tub of water, try to move your hand in water in the direction of stretched fingers. Now try to move your hand in the direction perpendicular to the plane of the hand. In which orientation of your hand do you experience a small drag? Why? Thus, frictional force on an object in a fluid depends on its speed with respect to fluid and on the shape of the object and the nature of the fluid also. So we play when we are taking the water into the tub, we move our hand in that water and also we play very interestingly. So you have to do that activity at home. What we need to do, keeping the taking the tub of water, and you have to rotate your hand in one direction. After some time you have to rotate in the hand in other direction. So when you feel very difficult to move your hand, when the water to move forward to water direction, it is very easy to move. When we are reverse, when you are you move your hand in reverse direction to water direction, so water movement of the direction, what happens, it feels very difficult. It is obvious that when object moves through fluids, they have to overcome friction acting on them. So efforts are made to minimize friction. Objects are given special shapes. Where do you think scientists get hints for these special shapes? From nature of the course. Birds and nature of course. From nature. Birds and fishes have to move about in fluids all the time. Their bodies must have evolved to shape which would make them not to lose much energy in overcoming friction. Do you find any similarities in the shape of an aeroplane and a bird? In fact, all vehicles are designing to have a shape which reduces fluid friction. Here you have to see bird flying and also aeroplane flying. Both are seeing same or not? Yes. So here nature gives the form of nature. So it gives the shape of any vehicle. So all the vehicles when they are traveling, they stops immediately because of the friction only. So this is the advantages of the friction. Do you find any similarities in the shape of the aeroplane and bird? Yes, we have to find so many similarities. So this is about the chapter second chapter, friction. Here some keywords are there, you have to observe: friction, static friction, sliding friction, lubricants, ball bearings, drag, fluid friction. So these are the this is the about the second chapter, friction. I think all of you understood. Thank you everyone. Must and should everyone read the textbook. Good morning all of